Of all the books in all the towns in all the world, she had to talk into mine.
Casablanca.
Good man.
Wait, she had to talk into mine?
Yeah. It's Audible books.
Oh, you're
Did you get it?
tweaking.
Oh, did you get it now, right?
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
right.
yeah, that
Okay,
was a
we're
warm-up.
going,
That
we're
was a
going.
warm-up, because I knew that one. That was a warm-up. All right, this one's for you.
.co.uk. Audible.co.uk. No one.
Oh, wait, James Bond.
that was
Yay! Yes!
Damn it.
Right. Won't you excuse me for a moment while I slip into something a little bit more audible?
Some old movie that Mike likes.
It was actually Blazing Saddles. 1974, I guess it's an old movie, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I wasn't born yet.
You talking to me?
Me neither.
You talking to me?
Taxi driver.
Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
Taxi.
It's Robert De Niro. Yeah.
Oh.
Dave, this book can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
2001 Space Odyssey.
I love the sound of audiobooks in the morning.
Apocalypse Now?
Yeah.
Good man. As Audible is my witness, I'll never be bored again.
Gone with the Wind.
Good man.
Damn
So, audible.co.uk/Is It a Bicycle, a free audiobook of your choosing. All you have to do is register for 1 month free trial to claim your free audiobook. There are over 80,000 to choose from. Just register at audible.co.uk/Is It a Bicycle. The 30-day free trial means you can choose a free audiobook which is yours to keep whether or not you decide to cancel the trial period. The books available are as diverse as, Mike,
King Lear.
and...
Waiting for Godot.
Perfect. So go claim your free book at audible.co.uk/Is It a Bicycle. Terms and conditions apply.
You should consider, like, the terms and conditions apply guy voice over a job.
Can I just let the audience know that they don't have to do any kind of pop quiz to do the Audible UK trial?
You make it
That
sound
in
really
no
hard,
way do they have to endure
It would be more
such
fun
punishment.
if they did, though. It would be way more fun. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Good evening
Hard
and welcome.
taskmaster,
Ah,
Steve.
Jesus, shut up.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Lads, I don't know what film you were watching, but it wasn't the same film I saw.
I'm all the man you need, Mark.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked and appalled.
So I'll bring it up, Ted.
It wasn't a very good movie. I laughed at it more than I laughed at The Possession.
Good evening and welcome to Is It a Bicycle? Season 7, Episode 17, the original and bestest ever TV and movie podcasts from Ireland. My name is Stephen Wrigley and I'll be your host for this evening. Beside me I have a man who normally, to see a man like him, you'd have to pay admission. It's Mike the McDonough. Joining us this week, live from Vegas, we have a man who burnt his mouth with pizza and now can't understand why all the things he loves keeps hurting him. It's Sean, Isle of Cannes, Leonard. This week, we're lucky enough to be joined by a lady who says her password must contain at least 2 female characters who talk to each other about something other than a man. It's Shona, I love Canada, O'Flaherty. This week, we hope to discuss some movies in the shape of The Salvation and The Mazerunner, and some TV in the shape of Selfie and Atos, or A2Z. We'll also have the news and some previews in Coming to a Bicycle near you. So how are we doing?
Very good.
Good.
Very good. Well, welcome back from the Blog Awards, guys.
Oh, thanks very much.
Congratulations, you all looked very dapper.
Oh, thanks very much.
I
That's
thought
all.
we did, actually. Didn't we? Yeah.
Despite the slagging about having no ties.
I can't believe that's such a thing. It wasn't just one person criticizing.
I know, yeah. They're wondering where our Windsors were.
Yeah. Where's your goddamn ties, guys? Letting the side down.
So it's a pity you missed it, Jonah.
I know, I would have classed the joint up. I would have made up for not having ties, because I would have overdressed spectacularly.
Yeah, it was the best ever. Yeah, you missed it. And
Did you have a good night?
Yeah, it's the last time they're ever having it, apparently. So,
No.
yeah.
Are you that was our last chance at
Yeah,
fame and
that was
fortune?
the best time ever. You're so missed it.
Damn it.
I'm still coming down from the high of how much fun it was.
I know. It's so much fun. I know, I think it's on again next year. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Phew.
So
I'll be there next year then when we win the podcast award.
oh, you see, that was our missing link.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we blame
If I was
you.
there to bribe all the judges,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have happened the way it went down.
Yeah. Okay.
Not to besmirch the good name of the people at Blog Awards, because
They don't take bribes. Yeah.
we tried.
Yeah. Okay, so what did we see this week? Sean, what started you?
Well, I got to watch the second episode of The Flash.
Oh, yeah.
TV series.
Did you?
I was going to ask if you'd seen it, Steve.
No, I haven't. I've been busy the last couple of days.
Well, you know, it's a pity Mark isn't here, because the one concern that he had about the pilot episode, that he wasn't sure if the father-son type relationship between the cop and the superhero, he was like, that seems a bit iffy for me. Luckily for him, the next episode was completely focused on that plot line.
No way.
Honest to God, literally everything about it. And what was cool is they've managed to keep up with pushing the boundaries in terms of their hook endings. And there's even a character, and I wasn't sure we were ever going to see this. There's even a character in it who is decidedly mean and evil in a way that doesn't make the overall like brightness and goodness of the show weird. Like, it doesn't clash. It's literally just like, oh my, that's unexpected. People can die. Yeah.
Oh.
Bit of an old murdering was going on. Ooh, lovely bit of murder.
Okay, cool.
Didn't they just announce the Flash film?
They did
today?
indeed.
And the guy was going to play it.
In fact, and hopefully I'm not stepping on any news people's toes, but Variety were reporting earlier on the slate of films from Warner Brothers.
Yes.
There are 10 DC Comics movies that were announced between now and 2020.
Wow.
I read that too. Wonder Woman in 2019, I think. Or 2017.
Wonder Woman is 2017.
That's it.
Is that going to be Jennifer Lawrence?
We'll let you know,
No,
Mike.
it's starring Gal Gadot, who will also be playing Wonder Woman in the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice film coming out in 2016.
I
Flash has been cast as Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller, that's it. I knew it was Ezra. Something. I've heard one blogger call the Superman, Superman versus Batman, is it?
Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice.
That's it. I've heard one blogger refer to it as Superman Face Punch, which I think is a better title.
Fight you.
It probably is. Yeah, I haven't watched much other stuff, and I've been very busy. I kind of rely on a noted Irish podcast to let me know what other stuff is on the airway.
What about Time?
The film?
Yeah.
Great
date movie. Me and Mark also both thought it was a great father-son movie. But I'd love to hear someone else's opinion about it.
Well, Sean, I watched it this week.
Tell us, Shona.
This is the second time travel Rachel McAdams film that I have seen in my lifetime. The first being The Time Traveler's Wife, which for some reason made me cry hysterically in the cinema car park afterwards. And I've been banned from watching films that have to do with husband and wife, one of them dying. Anyways, this is a different film about time travel with Rachel McAdams in it. And it stars Ireland's own Donald Gleeson, son of Brendan Gleeson. And he's great in it, and so is Rachel McAdams. And I really liked it. And if I was to compare it to The Time Traveler's Wife, I liked it a lot more. It also didn't make me cry hysterically, which gives it extra points.
Oh, okay.
It's a really good movie. It was touching to watch, but also kind of funny and interesting. And, you know, you don't have to get too hung up on the logistics of time travel.
Okay. Okay. So more rom-com than sci-fi?
Oh, way more rom-com. I mean,
Oh,
it is
okay.
a rom-com with a bit of time travel.
Okay.
On the side. It's a side
I
dish.
see. Did we see anything else this week?
I saw the first season of Fresh Meat. Have you ever seen that before?
Tell us. No. Mike, I'd say Mike would like this one. Go
Ears
on.
are perked up. I came across it on my Netflix, and it's a British show from Channel 4, I think, and it stars the guy from The In-Betweeners who played Simon. I think he was supposed to be the more normal of the four of them, and it's basically him in his college years and the housemates that he lives with in his first year. So you've got kind of like the dark, moody, badass girl, the really prissy girl, the girl who was prissy, but she's trying to reform herself into being a badass, the weirdo Scottish guy who seems to cure meat in the kitchen without his pants on. And the show is really good. Have any of you seen it?
Yeah.
Anybody?
No.
And I definitely recommend watching it. It's really funny. It's everything that you'd want the In-Betweeners to become when it grows up and goes to college.
All right.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Really funny.
But it isn't the same character, is it?
It is
He
not
just
the
happens
same
to be playing a very
characters, no.
similar role.
Yeah, I think the character of Simon, whoever that actor is, it's a type of similar role where, you know, the comedy's a bit raunchy at times, other times kind of sweet and touching. Like, you know, I should find out who the actor's name is so I don't just call him the guy who plays Simon. But, you know, like one of the kind of ongoing plot lines in the beginning of the series is about, that he's a virgin when he gets to college, you know, and his housemates set about trying to get him to lose his virginity, and there's a bit of drama around that. There's also a really, really posh guy played by a British comedian whose face you'd know. And he talks like that guy Ross O'Carroll Kelly writes, you know, like, he's all a very posh accent and, but he's kind of slumming it, living in a college house. No, listen, I'm shite at accents. If you get me to talk in any accent except my own long enough, it becomes Jamaican within about 3 sentences.
Can you do it Jamaican?
No, not even. I shouldn't even qualify it. Anyways, no, I definitely recommend Fresh Meat. It's funny.
Now that you've brought up meat, Shona, that actually brings me to a series of television that I watched recently. Have you ever heard of Bob's Burgers?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Do you guys both know about it because H. John Benjamin, Sterling Archer voices the main character?
No, I know about it because the young lad used to watch it a lot.
Yeah, it just sort of happened across it.
Yeah. I didn't really like it, I have to say.
What's really weird about it is that there's like scenes, there's maybe one scene in every episode that I think has the level of humor and the type of humor that I expect from Archer. And obviously a tamed down version, because it is just a show about a family running a burger restaurant. Mm-hmm. But it also means that it has the advantage of being really sweet a lot of the time, which is something that Archer can't really get away with consistently. But I blew through the first season of it after it was on in a bar, and I watched a little bit of it. The voice acting is amazing. Christian Shaw plays a little kid who's crazy, and to be honest, that's really tough to do when that's what people have been going to the well for about the past 10 years. It's a young child, but, acts a little bit more grown up and hurts people. Isn't that funny?
That's a bit weird, Sean. Like, most people go to Vegas for, gambling and hookers, and you go to Vegas to watch cartoons in bars.
Yeah, I'm an intellectual. I don't know if you got that memo.
Depends where your scale of debauchery is.
Yeah.
I just wanted to recommend to the lovely people, without being criticized for my social life, I wanted to recommend to the lovely people that they might enjoy it. It has one of the creepiest adolescent becoming an adult, sexuality becoming an issue in their lives storylines I've ever seen, and it is hilarious. It's just constantly always there. She is weirdly attracted to zombies, which she is also terrified of. There's like a series of like dream sequences where they're like dressed up like angels and their skin is rotting off and like making out with her, and she's like, no, stop it, lower. And she's like 13 or something, and incredibly oversexed. Anyway, it's a great show, and I think that it's worth giving a shot to.
Very good. Mike, did you see anything worth mentioning this week?
I saw the football game, but that doesn't count because it's not movies or TV.
That's true. It was on TV.
It was on TV.
On the television.
And highly entertaining.
Yeah.
Come on, Arnold.
Yeah.
I also watched a documentary on the making of Rocky. Which was quite entertaining, and they were talking about, in that movie they invented the Steadicam, which I thought was kind of cool.
Did they?
Really?
Yeah, I did not know that was the movie it came from. Huh. And the scene where he runs up the steps to the library and does the jumping around, that couldn't have been done with tracks and dollies and stuff. Your man was actually running with him up the steps.
No way.
And then circling around him at the top to get that shot.
Really? Jesus, what a workout.
And I thought that was really cool. And then I told the young lad all about it. He said, do you think I give a shit about a technical invention from a movie that was made before I was born? It just totally destroyed my bubble. I hate him.
Okay, so let's kick off and go to the news with me. Okay, just a few bits this week. First one, Sean, you like this. James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, he tweeted out the name in which it was translated to, or the direct translation of the Chinese translation. The Chinese translation for it when it's translated back, should I say, it is called Interplanetary Unusual Attacking Team. It's got a ring to it.
Nice.
I like it.
I think that's a better title, actually.
Yeah. So, Robert Downey Jr. has joined up for Captain America 3. And Jurassic Park World gets a new poster.
Woo.
But they've also signed up Omar Sy. Do you remember him from The Untouchables? He was the dude who helped the guy who's the...
Oh, yeah.
In the wheelchair? Yeah.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah. So he signed up for it, yeah. So International Secret Intelligence Service is no more. That's right, the makers of Archer have rebranded a bit and won't be using ISIS anymore. From now on, they'll be the underlings of CIA. Showrunner Adam Reed said they were waiting for it to go away, but it didn't. So, so that's a pity. ISIS is gone. Anyway. Game of Thrones, as we know, is the most pirated show ever. So next year, they're introducing a streaming service.
No way.
Yeah.
That'll just be a Game of Thrones channel.
Well, it'll be a HBO channel-y thing. You see, you couldn't stream it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you missed it on TV or you didn't record it, the only alternative was pirating, essentially, if you wanted to see it. So, or wait for the box set or whatever. So, anyway, they're coming up with this new pay-as-you-watch kind of streaming service. And also, I guess, what else was on there recently? Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, the same people have True Detective. Mm-hmm. And The Leftovers, and all those kind of more quality shows as well. So it won't be just for Game of Thrones.
I actually read the press release on this and was on Variety looking at it. Essentially, they've always had for a while now they've had HBO Go for anyone who pays for HBO on TV, but they've realized that about 10 million people who have HBO are only using the online service. So they decided they would literally just have its own HBO/Cinemax standalone service for people if they only wanted to watch stuff on the internet, because they did the research and realized how few people had TVs, which is huge, because now that HBO are doing it, it will succeed and people will then copy them. And the way that we watch television will soon get to the point where television is an outdated word because we won't be using them anymore.
Yeah. The only problem is with this, as far as I can see, is that it seems to be only a US service.
I was wondering if it was going to be geo-blocked. That was my first question.
Well, at the moment, but that's never a problem, really.
I know.
But
I had to go and buy Sky TV services just so. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say I did it just so I could have Sky Atlantic to watch Game of Thrones. It was very exciting for me.
Oh, okay.
My husband would say it was for Sky Sports, but my argument was Game of Thrones.
You're up watching wrestling in the morning, aren't you? That's it. Before you go to work. Yeah.
Of course.
There we go.
Speaking of paying for watching and wrestling, I wanted to ask Sean, what's happening with the wrestling channel? Is that working? Like, given that most
the WWE Network?
Yeah. Like, a lot of the demographic they appeal to is 6-year-old kids who obviously can't do pay-per-view unless they talk to
their main demographic is 18 to 49-year-olds, but...
Okay, the grown-up 6-year-olds who now have jobs and can pay for it.
Okay. Sure, yes, thank you for demeaning me. Yes, go on.
I am the demographic.
So I was just wondering, did the transition to pay-per-view kill it as a spectacle, or is the popularity still there?
Well, to be honest, it's more like a streamlining of their pay-per-view as opposed to a move away from it. Mm-hmm. They still have the same, or at least similar TV deals that they had before, so you can still watch the two main shows on the USA Network on Mondays and on Sci-Fi on Fridays. Okay. But they're creating more content and editing together a lot of old content, et cetera, et cetera. To be honest, it seems that it's not going to go away. Mm-hmm. And I do think that it's going to improve, because it's not going to take that long for people to just start signing up, because the diehards already have. Mm-hmm. And I think that some people were just waiting to see if it was going to fail or if there's going to be any good stuff on it. Word of mouth on the actual shows themselves is pretty good. Mm-hmm. And the product is doing very well. Like, it had about a 10-week run where it was the number one show on basic cable on Fridays. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not to be sneezed at, you know? And they've actually got the audience, like 15,000 people every week will now, whenever they are queued, chant the price per month of the service. Like, I swear to God, they'll come out and go, and if you want to watch that, all you have to do is subscribe to the WWE Network for only and then 15,000 people go, $9.99. And they're selling t-shirts that just say $9.99. People are buying it.
No
So
way.
I think it's working fairly well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Question answered. Thank
Nice.
you.
That seems so, like, meta.
It is. It's like half of the people are making fun of them, but also giving them money.
Yeah.
So
Buying the t-shirt
it's
of
not
the
really
advertising
revolution,
campaign.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start with the first of our movies.
Oh,
Which
we're
is-
actually going to start the podcast.
Oh, we're
now.
going to start now. Yeah. Yeah, we're only 20 minutes in. You know.
Yeah.
Listen, we had a lot to catch up
We
on.
did. Yeah. We did. Yeah.
You guys, it's been a few weeks.
Yeah. So The Salvation. So this is set in 1870s America, in the Wild West. A Danish immigrant family comes to visit him and is very quickly murdered. And he murders the murderer and unleashes the fury of a gang upon himself and the town he lives in. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
It stars Mads Mikkelsen, who is fantastic in it. Ava Green, couldn't forget her. Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Eric Cantona, of all people.
A surprising addition to the cast.
Yeah. So, what do we think? Let's just start. Mike.
I'm still kind of shocked that Eric was in it.
Yeah.
Last I saw him, he was doing Stella Artois ads.
I'm more shocked that he was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't have an awful lot to do now, but what he did was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked mean on cue, anyway.
Yeah.
Which is key to any Western film. Yeah.
I did think it was kind of funny that they talk in the initial, opening blurb about the Danish guys going to America after the War of 1864. And I
Yeah.
could see the rest of the world scratching their heads going, what was the War of
Wait,
1864?
The which now? Yeah. That's the Holstein, Schleswig-Holstein, is it? Is that the war?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
When they got their asses royally kicked.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And lost lots of land. Yeah, so they all legged it.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the new land. Anyway, history lesson over. So what did you think of this?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well shot.
Yeah. Obviously low budget.
Yeah.
You could see them being economical with their settings and stuff like that.
Yeah. They're all small towns, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a bit kind of surprised that Eva Green kept her clothes on. I haven't seen a movie with her in it that's happened in for quite a long time. Not that she got to legal age or whatever.
You're a bit shocked and appalled, Mike.
Yeah, it's a good old fashioned story. The goodies are really, really good and the baddies are really, really bad.
Yeah.
And they have a conflict and lots of people get killed. Often in painful ways.
Yeah.
And often pointless ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some great characters in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like the town mayor.
Yeah.
Who's also a bit of a turncoat, and there's he's also the undertaker.
Yeah.
And, he's a load of jobs like this. And, the sheriff is pretty good as well. The sheriff that can't do anything because his hands are tied.
Yeah.
And the bad guy.
Was that a clerical collar he had in his thing, or just the stylish shirt?
Yes.
He
was a
clerical?
priest. He was also the town priest. He said at one point that he had to go perform a baptism and that Sunday Mass would take longer than usual.
That's right.
Okay, so it's double jobbing. Yeah.
What do you think of this, Sean?
I was really, really worried about this film because the only thing I knew about it going in was that it was a Western.
Yeah.
And at no point was it like, we're going to try not to be a Western. At no point was it like, we're going to do something really different from what a Western does. Which is risky when Westerns have been around for as long as they have and have been done quite well, at least in the opinion of most people. But the movie, quite happily, surprised me a number of times simply just by being good at what it was doing. Like we even talked about the characters in it. I thought that Mads Mikkelsen was an inspired choice. Like already you're out of the traditional Western hero mold. And I thought that, like even the idea of the priest being the sheriff and also kind of being a prick was just good. Like that's useful. That's interesting to me. I thought it was well shot. And again, there's not much new that you really can do. but the stuff they did was at least, if not above par, then on par. There was one really great scene where they were trying to do something that shows how bad the bad guy is.
Yeah.
And which is something that they do all of the time, you know, in Westerns. So I was like, what are you going to show me that's new? What are you going to show me that's new? And what they did was they made me believe that he actually wanted a particular relationship with one of the other characters and had just consummated it. So then an entire scene plays out. We were like, I mean, yeah, he's a shithead, but it seems like the things that he wants are at least motivated by some human emotion.
Yeah.
And then a character turns their head, and the entire scene is different.
Yeah.
That was very well done.
Yeah.
Like, that's just good filmmaking when the visuals of a story tell it, which is particularly important when you have a character who cannot speak. And beyond that, I just thought that the fights were good and the film was well edited. It was like 80 or something minutes. That's as long as it needs to be.
Yeah.
Bad thing happens, more bad things happen. And then the ending. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very well done by them.
What do you think of Mads?
Mads Mikkelsen? I mean, now that I've seen all of Hannibal, it's just a case of me just waiting and feeling really comfortable that he's going to act really well.
Yeah. Can't do anything
I thought
wrong
he was
these
good.
days. Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to portray someone who's very frequently bet half to death or further. You know what I mean? But he pulled it off.
It's one thing I like about the genre in general is that there's, especially in this movie, there's no soul searching and moral examination of your actions. You know,
it is what it is.
They don't have time for it in the Wild West.
Yeah. Let's just go and sort this shit out. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of understood to be morally bankrupt, so there's no point of investigating oneself.
And
No point discussing it either.
I feel comfortable with that bankruptcy.
Of course you would, Mike. But you know, Sean, I didn't see the film. I had a look at the trailer though, just to get an idea of what the film was about. And you answered the question that I would have asked, which is this any different from a Western film? Because from the trailer, it just looks like it is a straightforward, serious Western with maybe a bit of changes in terms of casting, you know, having the, like Nordic thing thrown in. I mean, that's new for me for a Western. Yeah. But I was curious to know if in any way it broke from the mold of what a Western is. So it's good to hear it's very much a Western, but done very well. So that's good to know.
As an avid listener of the podcast yourself, Shona, I'm sure by this point that you're bored of hearing me talk about how films can operate within a genre, either by doing them perfectly, or by subverting the expectations of the genre, or by being completely different. I think this film pretty much just does the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
And and that's good because especially when we're critics, you know, when we're actually watching the film, going, I wonder what's bad about this. I wonder what there is that I can say is bad about this. You know? Yeah. So I thought that was good. Especially like an easygoing movie person just sitting down to watch it for a laugh. Sure. Yeah. It's going to work.
It looked too violent for me to watch, which is why I didn't, and it sounds like it absolutely was too violent.
Yeah.
I've seen worse.
It's no Tarantino.
We've seen worse.
Yeah.
Well, see, Tarantino kind of moves into like the almost comic book violence.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
what
Kill
you mean.
Bill.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me so much, but
Yeah.
this looked like it was kind of gritty, which you know is just not my thing.
What about Game of Thrones though?
Yeah, see, I can take. I guess because I read the books, I have a forewarning, so I know when something's going to be difficult, and I know. I don't know. I can handle it.
So did you put books
Fair
down
enough.
as well?
You'd probably be able to handle this then.
Do you know? I would say no to you, except for right now I'm reading a YA book about the zombie apocalypse, and I've put it down, and I think potentially I will not finish it because it's getting too gruesome.
You know what you
about
need?
torturing.
Do you mean young adult?
Yes.
Young adult zombie book, too hardcore
Zombie.
for Shona.
Jonah.
In my defense, they're torturing a young zombie kid, and they
He's dead.
No, he's not dead yet. They're making him do a blood transfusion to a non-zombie kid, and while they're bleeding him to death, they cut off his eyelid so that they can watch him in agony. And then I was like, nope, done.
What you need is an
That's
audiobook.
fucked up.
Do you know where I could find one, Steve?
Audible.co.uk/is it a bicycle?
Audible.co.uk/is it a bicycle?
That's correct. 30-day trial, free. You can download any book, and you can keep it even if you cancel your trial.
30-day trial?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
If I were
could
you,
read
I'd go do it right now.
Stop.
Can I not do it right now? I'll finish the podcast first.
Yeah, this was not quite a paint by numbers Western because it was kind of inspired, I thought, at times, but it was exactly what I was expecting. It could have been made by Clint Eastwood. It could have been Clint Eastwood in the main role. I'm pretty sure we've seen movies with Clint Eastwood in this very same role, or maybe even back as far as John Wayne. But I don't know. I don't know if it was the script or the arrangement or the editing, as you said, Sean, that made it original in its own right. And that's what kept me interested. Pacing was good. It moved along swiftly. Stuff got done when it needed to get done. And I really enjoyed it. Didn't think I would, but I was like, brilliant. The last movie I saw Mads in was The Hunt. And he was absolutely brilliant in that too. Yeah.
I think what was actually original was the fact that they didn't try and be original.
Yeah.
Like in that genre for the last 20 years.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They've tried to do, rock and roll westerns, alien westerns, whatever. This is just a western.
Just Western, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that alien one, yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel
It was
Craig.
Harrison Ford, wasn't
Wasn't it Daniel Craig?
It
Was
was
it
both.
Cowboys
Yeah,
and
It was
Aliens?
both.
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
It was both. Cowboys versus aliens.
Yeah, so to have a bog standard 1950s western was actually kind of nice.
Yeah. Do you want to mark it?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a classic, although it harkens back to the classics. I'll give it an enjoyable 6.
This is one I'd probably watch again because it's such an easy watch.
Yeah.
I'd say, my dad would like this actually as well. So those who liked westerns when they were the top genre, let's say, would love this, I'd say. Yeah, I think it was stronger than a 6 for me. I'd say a very strong 7. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. John?
I'm a little bit frightened, but I agree with Mike, so I'm going to give it a 6.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Next up, we'll have the first of our TV in the shape of Selfie, Shona. Thanks, Shona.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys.
It's just great to have her back, isn't it?
Did you miss me?
Yeah.
I knew I'd have to come up with something to counteract whatever violent shit you were going to make me watch this week. So Selfie is, I feel like it's Alicia Silverstone and Clueless in the modern day world. Anyway, so it's about this young woman who is big into her social media, is the premise. She's very kind of vapid and...
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed. Hashtag Jim blessed. Anyways, that's a quote from the film, TV show. So anyways, she's, vapid, kind of mindless,
materialistic,
clueless type girl.
Instagram girl.
Instagram girl, that's how the show opens, isn't it? She takes selfies of everything, and then she goes on a plane, ends up puking into an air sickness bag, and then the bag breaks all over her. She gets covered in puke. Her coworkers laugh at her, and then this is prime time for a personality makeover. That was one of the best scenes in this whole thing, was that just after those bags burst. Right. Because there was a soundtrack playing in the background, and it was a song I'd forgotten about. Right. But it's brilliant. You notice that one is the lonely. Oh, yes. And I just, that's perfect. It's brilliant. Yeah. I thought that was just brilliant. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So anyways, there's a guy in her office. I think, does he run the office? He's the genius of the office anyways, who is anti-social media, and he makes fun of Twitter, and as Steve alluded to, he makes fun of the hashtag blessed hashtags in Twitter. So anyways, as the straight-laced, no messing around guy without a sense of humor, she goes to him for his approval, the actor John Cho, and she says, make over my personality, because that is what every woman needs, is a man to change and improve her. So anyways, on to the TV show.
It was only a matter of time.
So what did you guys think before I give you my verdict?
So this is an update, or at least inspired by Pygmalion. Whereas back in the day, it's how do we, make this rough and tumble lower class girl into a very dapper dame. Now it's much more about low brow and higher brow, and the clash between those two things. And what was really interesting that I don't know if you noticed, you said, Shona, you said anti-social media. Which
I totally did it on purpose. I coined that term.
Which I think is pretty interesting in terms of what Facebook and all of that stuff does to us. I thought that the pilot was all right. Like, it made me smile, and it genuinely didn't make me laugh. I think mostly because of the chemistry between those two. And so much so that I watched the second episode on Hulu right before we came and sat down. And for anyone wondering, it is incredibly more equal in terms of it's a two-way street in terms of how they're affecting each other.
Right.
And it kind of leans much more heavily in John Cho's character's direction, because they haven't really introduced him beyond him in terms of Karen Gillan's character. So what's interesting is they have some really, I honest to God laughed out loud, which has not happened much, but they have some great scenes of him getting addicted to Facebook, which he's never had before. And there's some people making fun of him for not being on it yet. And he's like, I'm on LinkedIn. Did you tell them I'm on LinkedIn? Just like really just small basic stuff that I thought was great. And there's small moments where they just let the writing be funny, while also being true, and a commentary on the world are really great. Like she's at an ice cream store and she runs into, Charmonique, who is the mother who works as a receptionist in the office. And she's there and they're discussing booty calls and how difficult it is to not, give in, to having sex with people. And Charmonique's just like, oh, just have a baby. No one's ever going to call you again. and then she's like, and then Charmonique realizes her child is watching her and then like tries to dig herself out of the hole she's just dug. And at the end, the kid's just got an ice cream. He's like, I'm man poison. The point is, I think that I accidentally like this show a lot. So we should probably kick it to somebody, to tone me down. I don't know who on the podcast is incredibly negative.
See, I think Mike is actually going to like this because Natasha Hendricks is in it, in the next few episodes. Actually, there's a girl in it, one of her friends that comes to do the make down.
Make under.
Yeah. Ren is her name, the taller one.
Ren?
And her name's Colleen Smith, I think. And she was in a movie in 2008 called Battle Planet. Thought you'd like that.
We did like that.
Yeah, Fight Planet.
I believe it was reviewed.
So you like this show because there was a person who's in it who's in a movie called Fight Planet.
No, I thought you might like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is getting ready for a serious review.
I'm just rolling up the
sleeves are
here
being
now.
rolled up. The brow is furrowed. Steve, go.
Yeah, like I said, that I thought that tune was just a work of genius at the start, but I'm not a fan of this. I can see why people will be a fan of this. I can see it going to second season. They're John Cho and
Karen
Gillan are very good in it. It's just not for me. What made me kind of cringe was when they overdid the whole hashtag thing, talking in acronyms and that kind of that sort of killed it a little bit. Had they eased up on that a bit, it might have been a bit better. But
she's very heavily animated that way, isn't she? Yeah.
There's a few times it was sort of thrown into the middle of sentences where it wasn't needed and it wasn't funny. But it's not bad. It's not bad for what it is. It's not my kind of thing. Like I say, I won't watch any more of it, but it's not a bad show. Yeah. Mike, kill it. Kill it, Mike.
Well, like when I saw it on the list, I thought, oh dear Jesus. But then when it started and I saw this, hideous, odious shitbag of a human being.
Kind of identified with it.
I thought, I could get into this, That's my kind of thing, And Karen Gillan, Doctor Who, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was also in Guardians of the Galaxy as Nebula.
Yeah.
No way!
She was the blue chick.
Wow.
Yeah, the blue chick.
She's Scottish, isn't she?
Yes, indeed. Her accent is awesome.
Did not notice that she wasn't American. Wow. Well done.
There you go. I thought she was excellent in it, and like you were talking about the too much hashtagging stuff, I thought that became funny in a Family Guy kind of a way, with the chicken fight. It was annoying for a little while, and then suddenly, she did it again. Fucking, I'm laughing. Fucking, I can't stop. I thought Mr. Cho was excellent as the straight-laced antithesis for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Wasn't he?
Yeah. I think they're a brilliant choice of people to work against each other. You can't have more chalk and cheese than that. And I really liked the whole anti-internet-y kind of theme. As somebody who rarely, if ever, uses Facebook.
I think it's interesting that you bring up theme, Mike, because there's actually a book that I'm reading in class now called Wired for Story. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point it tries to define what theme is, which I think is interesting because I would struggle to be able to be like, well, a theme is like not what it's about, but kind of like what it's about, which is not a very good definition. Yeah. But what it had was, if you want to know where the theme is in a story and what the theme is, you can ask yourself 2 questions. 1, what does it tell us about how people deal with things they can't control? Mm-hmm. And 2, what does it tell us about human nature? Which I think Selfie manages to zero in on in a way that the advertisements for Selfie did not make me think it would be doing.
Yeah.
Like, I was literally just like, oh my, I'm going to hate this. This is going to be, oh my. I thought it would be empty and vapid and odious, much like the character starts out as. But I think that they pulled off a thing that we often critique shows for not doing, where I go, that's an unlikable person that I want to succeed. I want them to get better. Yeah. That's what I ended up with anyway.
Yeah.
And I think what the show, are you done?
No,
do you want to throw any last bombs on
You just interrupt me. That's fine.
All right, I will. Touching on that, Sean, I think one of the things that I found liking about the show, despite myself, was that you can relate to both Karen Gillan's character and John Cho. I think everybody has had a moment where they're just like, for fuck's sake, will you put down your phone and engage in this human experience? Like, if you're at a concert, put your phone away and listen to the music. If you're at a dinner, put your phone away and eat your food. If you're having, a conversation, put your Twitter away and talk to a human being. I think it's one of my pet peeves, and I think everybody can relate to that moment, But at the same time, we're probably all also guilty of being the person who is thinking, I've got 3 seconds of idle time, pull out my phone. And, you're tweeting or looking at Instagram or looking at Facebook or doing whatever. So you're kind of a bit of both characters. And so you're finding yourself relating to and disliking, those traits in each of them. And I think the show to succeed is going to need that balance between John Cho's character and Karen Gillan's, because you need both ends of that spectrum. Otherwise, both of them are going to become a victim, I think, of their characterization. So yeah, like Sean, what you were saying, I found myself liking it. Just like, I really, really wanted to hate this show. I was all like, I am going to choose this show for us to review this week, and it'll be a hilarious show that we can all rip apart together, and it would be great fun. Mm-hmm. And, as I was watching it, I was having an argument with myself, being like, this is really anti-feminist, but I'm laughing. Like, part of me was just like, this is insulting. And then part of me was like, but isn't it funny? And then I just thought, stop trying to, who cares? If you're laughing, you're having fun. That's kind of the point of the show, isn't it? It's not going to be life-changing.
So they got the balance right.
I think you'd need to see more to see. I mean, I don't think it's going to become a favorite show of mine. I found it really annoying the way that, like what you said, the way that they had her talk, and, it was totally lols, H2Q for I can't even do it, but she just talks in this, like internet shorthand that I found annoying, because I don't actually know any humans that talk like that. We might do it a little bit, but we wouldn't do it as much as she does. And there is still kind of stereotypes, she's the vapid white girl, and then you have the very serious Asian businessman, and then you have like the comic relief hilarious black lady, and so part of me thinks this could very quickly become very boring and one-dimensional and stereotypical. But I think I would have to see more before I could decide. So I'm not writing it off, and that's the best thing I can say about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, thriller filler. Sean.
I'm excited to see where it goes. It's going to be thriller for me, Steve.
Thriller. Mike.
Unexpectedly, I really enjoyed this, and I think it has the makings of a really good series. However, I would beg the producers never ever to consider making a season 2. There's one story in this, and I hope they tell that story well, and don't try and branch off and grow the characters beyond the situation. So I'm going to give it a thriller.
Wow. Okay. Sean.
Very good. I'm also going to give it a thriller. Like I said, I want to see where it goes. Is it going to fall into itself and its stereotypes, or is it going to become this, funny balance? So, yeah, I'll watch more.
Sorry, I'm going to break the streak. I'm afraid it's filler for me. Yeah. I'm not going to watch any more of it. It's not that I think it's a bad show. It's just that I'm not going to watch any more of it, and that's kind of
That's the criteria.
That's the criteria. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Criterion, because it is one criteria.
Yes, the main criteria. You're right.
It is the criterion.
The premiere criteria.
That's a much better word. Criterion.
Okay. Next up, we've the second of our movies, which is the Mazerunner. Mike.
The Mazerunner is the story of a bunch of people who can't remember what the hell happened to them as they end up in a football pitch with some trees and huts and really, really large walls around them. The walls have gates that open occasionally, and people go in and run around in the maze of other walls outside the initial walls. These walls are quite dangerous, especially at night. There you go.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's pretty much it. And they try to get out. Yeah. Who's in this, Mike? People.
What's that?
People.
The kid from Love Actually, the blondie.
The kid from Love Actually, the blondie.
Right? Well, these people are all they're all boys of a certain age.
Yeah, the only person that matters is Dylan O'Brien, who plays Thomas. And he is the primary character, and everybody else in the movie is basically there to facilitate his development as a character. And, that's it.
I recognized Will Poulter, who played Gally. I think he was in Ender's Game.
He was actually. Yeah.
I knew that face. Yeah. Oh yeah, Thomas Brody Sangster is the blonde kid from Love Actually.
Yeah, the little elfie guy.
Yeah, elfin-looking blondie guy that's really scrawny and looks weird, swinging a machete around.
Was he in Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, he's Jojen.
Was he also called Newt in Game of Thrones?
He was one of the frog people.
He's a frog people, but he's called Jojen Reed.
That's why I was like, Newt. Oh, very good name. He's a bit typecast. So what do we think of this?
Silence.
I thought that it was very difficult to get to the cinema this week.
Oh, did you? So you didn't quite see
I did not, indeed. I did not make it to the movie theatre. But we previewed this in Is It a Bicycle? And I was very interested to see where they were going to go with the inciting incident of the lady amongst all these boys and how dark and twisted they would actually show human beings are. I'd love a bit of discussion. Oh, good. Everyone is fine. Everyone's fine.
Yeah. I was actually, when that character appeared, I was expecting a bit more in the area of darkness.
Yeah, you thought things are going to go downhill very quickly.
Things were going to, and they didn't really.
No.
Could have been anyone.
I mean, this movie is basically like Lord of the Flies in a maze, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of looking at it saying, what's it going to show us about humanity? Because these boys are all kind of like preteen, early teenager age, would you say? So when the girl shows up, you're just like, oh god. But it went a different way anyways. It turns out because no one can remember who they are. But a day or two after arriving in this maze in the field, they all get back memory of what their names are, but they don't know anything else about themselves. But as it goes along, it turns out that she begins remembering a history with one of the other characters in the maze. And,
Yeah. Actually, you know what this reminded me of was, as well as Ben Richards in The Running Man.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was very Running Man-ish.
Ish.
Yeah.
It was Running Man light.
Yeah, you see, there isn't a whole lot to this movie.
No.
Because they're in a maze, new character arrives, he wants to get out of there, the guys have been there for 3 years, and he wants to get out within 3 minutes.
Well, see, that's the thing.
And then there's the Lord of the Flies kicks in saying, you're not following the rules. and then he just goes, well, I'm making up new rules.
Like, they even have a piggy
Kill
character.
the pig.
What?
Yeah.
Its throat.
I was gonna say, they even have a piggy character, you know? Like,
Yeah.
the fat guy that no one takes seriously, who's just a sweetheart.
Yeah.
But, yeah. See, that's one of the things I had. I mean, I think the plot in general was fairly lacking. I don't think the script was well written. I don't think it was well acted. I don't think it was well directed. There's kind of nothing to it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Are we agreeing?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, right. So are we?
Yeah, sorry.
I just completely lost my train of thought.
So what I'm getting there is that it's derivative of a lot of things, and it's uninspired in every way, and it's bad.
No, you
it's
haven't said it's
synopsis.
bad yet.
Oh, yeah. We haven't got there
Sorry, I
yet.
just
We're
thought
getting there.
I know that it's not good. That's what I'm hearing from Shimona.
What I was going to say, Steve, about them having been there for 3 years, like, so the idea is that a new boy arrives every month, like clockwork, and I think supplies are also brought in with him. So the guy who's been there the longest has been there 3 years, and then, you know, the film starts off when the last guy arrives, and he's been there for like 3 days, but like within a matter of like a day, he's been kind of Lord of the Flies, where there's like all of a sudden everything is like life and death, and like, why don't we get out there and come on, and he starts making, you know, life and death decisions. And it's just like, you've been there, like, yesterday you had a full meal and a roof over your head. How are you Lord of the Flies at this point? It just is really unbelievable because I can't.
Really? That's what suspended your belief? Really?
Many elements are unbelievable, but the character development of the main character, I just did not buy. And like the whole thing, they're like, oh, he's someone special. And then, you know, we see him kind of remembering, unveiling kind of a power of sorts towards the end, and you're just, you know, people are talking about him like he's going to be some savior, but none of it, I mean, you're not invested in any of it, because you're just like, even within this world they've created, this isn't believable.
Huh.
Yeah, see, when it started, I was actually quite excited because, you know, it's a similar kind of thing to the Hunger Games and what was that delinquent movie we watched?
Oh, Divergent.
Divergent, yeah. And my problem with those movies was that, you know, you have a 16-hour movie and 14 hours of it is backstory, preparing yourself for the final run and adventure.
Yeah.
And in this, nobody can remember anything, so you've cut all that crap out.
That's very true, yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But then they decided to put it in at the end. Oh, God, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it felt very much so like, what was the one we watched last week? Dracula Untold. This, to me, seemed like a movie that the directors and the producers didn't actually want to make. They wanted this basically to be a precursor to the sequel, which they really hope is going to be good. So all of this is just filler.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
To set up the sequel. And they're hoping that the last 5 minutes of it are going to hook you in and say, oh, that could be cool next time. And I kind of forget about how crap this one was.
I don't know if I agree with you on the crapness.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because this...
Did Steve kind of like it a little bit?
well, like what's it called? Like the Runner. Sorry, my mic was off for some reason. Like Running Man, it was, I don't know, it was kind of mindless, and I kind of knew what was coming, and it delivered, and it was fast-paced because they had to get out of there within 90 minutes.
Was it fast-paced because it's about maze runners?
I guess that helps.
Get it, runners, they run, so it's fast-paced.
And they had to run from stuff as well. So, but I thought the effects were good. I thought the world was pretty cool. The universe kind of intrigued me. Intrigued me what was behind the walls, which I think they were aiming for as well.
Right.
That's what you're sort of hanging on for most of the movie, is what's out there. And then when they get out there, what's beyond there. And that's, that kind of hooked me. And for what it was, I thought it was quite enjoyable, actually. I didn't think it was a bad movie. Now if I was to examine it from a like a script and acting to break it down, they probably weren't all that great. All those points that you're quite right in saying they're a bit crap. But I think as a whole, I think it delivered what it was trying to do. What did you call it? A YA movie?
I was you exactly honed on what I was going to say next, which is, because you said it's a good movie for what it is.
Yeah.
So my next question is, what is it? And I think you're right. It's a YA movie.
It is, yeah, totally. It's a ridiculous plot.
Once you're a boy going to see the movie and you're the same age as the guys in the film, I think you might enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's enough blood and guts and the kind of stuff to interest you, but it's not so gruesome that, you'd need to be an adult to watch and not be scarred by, I think it's YA for boys.
Totally.
And I think for what it is that way, I think you're right. It's worth going to see.
And even the last actor too, I was quite satisfied with the result.
It's interesting. And did you also notice the appearance by a woman who plays Tammy 1 in Parks and Recreation?
Yes. Can't get away from
very
those
enjoyable.
People. Yeah.
I look for them everywhere.
Yeah. So you know what? When Mazerunner 2 comes out, or whatever it's going to be called, I think I might go and see this.
You can report back, because I will not be going to see it.
Mike.
Yeah, see, when you compare this with its genre compatriots, like in Hunger Games, you got to, if you'd no interest in the story, you could at least see Jennifer Lawrence distressed and panting. That'll get you through the 2 hours.
I hope you don't look for those things together in employment. Let's pretend those are unrelated.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that here. So I really can't think of a single thing to commend about this movie. It's terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to make the point that I'm sure that there are many people out there who got the exact same enjoyment you get from watching Jennifer Lawrence, watching this crowd of apparently quite attractive young men who will be on our screens for probably the next 10 years, some of them at least. So maybe there is something out there for some people. I don't know if I care about any of the individuals in it. But maybe there are people out there who do? Question mark?
Maybe.
I think no. I think the girls of this age group, I would be very surprised if they were going to go watch this film.
Yeah, it's
just.
Not very
I don't think it's like. Not that I'm saying girls can't like action films. Obviously, I love this type of film. But I mean, if you're talking in terms of like the boys drawing them in the same way that Jennifer Lawrence might be a draw, they're way too young. They're not. I don't know. But then again, people like One Direction. So what do I know?
I thought your man Paulson was kind of wasted in this. He has been good in other movies.
Yeah.
This struck me as kind of a character that they're kind of assuming maybe you like the book or something. I take it this is
there a book?
Isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Has to be.
You can get it on audible.com.
.co.uk.
/ Is It a Bicycle? Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if this didn't come from a book.
All right, so mark it.
You want me to mark it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to give this a fairly poor 4.
Okay. I was going to give it a poor mark, first of all, because I cared nothing about the film. And then I thought maybe I'll give it a better mark because for the demographic it's aimed at, they might find it enjoyable. But then when you started talking about comparing it to compatriots in this genre, so if we can describe this genre as being YA young adult, sci-fi futuristic dystopian universe, which we've discussed before is my shiz.
Yeah.
I have to rank it based on my love of that genre of film and book, and based on that, I'm going to give it a 3.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Harsh.
I enjoyed
Those
this.
B movies get 3.
Yeah. I enjoyed this, but it was average. So, it wasn't worse. It wasn't bad average. It wasn't good average. It's just average. So it's a 5. Straight down the middle. Yeah. Yes.
But before we move on to the next thing,
I
did a bit of scholarly research in the past 45 seconds just to see if Dylan O'Brien or any of the other actors might be construed as a draw in terms of attraction. So I Googled Dylan O'Brien Hawt, H-A-W-T. There were many results. And then I Googled the correct spelling, which had over nearly 4 million.
Oh, wow.
And apparently I have already been to the BuzzFeed article, 16 Reasons Dylan O'Brien is the Dork of Your Dreams. So that's
basically my
a surprise to
opinion
even
is
me.
old and outdated and irrelevant to the young women.
Well, just to...
I didn't say that.
Do you know what it's scoring on IMDb?
What?
I'd say 8.5.
Not that, that
What
score...
did they score it out of?
is-
What's their
out of
rating
10.
system? 10.
Yeah, of course our scores are...
Right.
I'm guessing 8.5.
Much more.
7.
7.4.
6.4.
7.4. A
Wow.
meta score of 56.
What's a meta score?
Metacritic.
Oh, okay.
It
So I thought that like this, it was a score that was meta. Anyway.
Okay, so next up we go to the last of our TV, which is A to Z, or Atos. Sean,
Which is only what you've decided to name it, to be clear. It's not called Ataz.
Squint. It's Atos. Yeah.
Wasn't there an orc in the Lord of the Rings called Atos?
There's also a Hyundai called Atos.
Andrew, played by Ben Feldman, and Zelda, played by Kristen Milioti, have a wondrous night together. Andrew and Zelda, as we are told at the beginning of every episode of A to Z, date for 8 months, 3 weeks, 5 days, and 1 hour. This television program is the comprehensive account of their relationship.
Narrated by Katie Siegel.
Indeed.
Oh, it is indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Futurama and Married with Children.
Oh, it's the one from Married with Children.
Is she related to Jonathan?
Yeah, so what do we think of this?
This girl I always confuse with the woman from Masters of Sex, but she is the love interest from How I Met Your Mother.
The final season, yes, indeed.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was
final
not confused
season.
with that. Okay.
And her name is Zelda. So.
That's the best review ever.
So, Sean.
I'll put on my thinking cap
So
now.
A to Z is Jesus. A to Z is a
It's a rom-com.
romantic comedy
Yeah.
sitcom series with no laugh track, which is really balls out fine with being sentimental, saccharine, and just kind of sweet in that sense. The last show to do that was How I Met Your Mother, and that did pretty well for itself. So, that show also had what people thought was a self-contained and constrained storyline, as in, this is the story of How I Met Your Mother. That ended up being 9 seasons long. This show, if it really is going to go by the alphabet, as it has in its first 2 episodes, can only have 26 episodes. And the main couple can only be together for a period of time that they tell us, which I'm already interested in. So I think that is a good job by them, although I'm waiting for them to lie to me later on. I thought that it was only a little bit funny, this feeling inside. And I thought it was much more interesting to see their interactions, almost from it was almost like archetypal, like this is the sensitive guy who believes in destiny and fate. Which again, the last time we had that was Ted Mosby. And this is a girl that's a little bit more, into her career than into dating, but there's something about this guy, which is like Robin Scherbatsky. But I didn't find myself hating those comparisons, simply because I think that both of the actors are pretty good at what they're doing, and that there is chemistry between them. And I already wanted them to be together once they started being together. I also followed up and watched the second episode, which is funnier, which is no surprise given that they didn't have to do the setup, and starts to deal with the ridiculously specific, air quotes, rules, end air quotes, of dating, in terms of when do we decide if we're exclusive, when do we decide if we're boyfriend, girlfriend, or just seeing each other.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, these kinds of things plague me in my real world life. I have to deal with this shit all the time. There are people who want to know if I'm a BF, if we're BFFs, I don't know. It's difficult for me to figure that shit out. Why can't we just not talk about it for a while? I don't know. Apparently we can. Apparently we have to talk about it right now. So it's lovely to escape away into a show that just kind of believes in love, and wants to just kind of convince you of it too.
Yeah.
What did you guys think?
Yeah, this wasn't expecting to like this, but I did. It gives a bit of a warm, fuzzy feeling. It does. I kind of relate to the trials and tribulations of the dating game, as I remember. Geez, foggy now these days. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. The characters are very likable, despite their quirks. Except Zelda's a bit of an asshole.
But she's meant to be an asshole.
Yeah, she's emotionally guarded, Steve.
You see, I've watched episode 2 as well.
Stunted.
And Zelda's still a bit of an asshole. She puts Ben, what's his name? Sorry, not Ben, is it?
Andrew. It begins with an A.
Sorry, Ben's his real name, yeah.
Bandrew.
Yeah, Bandrew. Yeah, so, yeah, she puts him in a bit of a predicament, and he's all nice about it, and he's like, oh my god, I did this, and oh my god, and it turns out that he was right, and she would, after putting him on the spot and being a bit of an asshole, instead of actually admitting to something.
Right.
I don't want to give it away, but she put him in dire straits for a couple of days and made a big problem out of nothing.
Huh.
So.
You know what I love about this? Two things are happening there. One, you're actually putting yourself in the situation and going, nah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
I've been
I
there.
was.
That's fucking bullshit.
Listen.
Which shows the next point, which is that you are on Team Andrew. And that you bought into
wait
that
till you
extent.
hear. Yeah, I am on Team Andrew straight away. I was on Team Zelda, but then she was a bit of an asshole. Did I mention that? She was a bit of an asshole. No, seriously.
Is that what the A was for in the first episode?
It was true. Yeah. B for bitch. Yeah, but yeah, it's true because afterwards, I'd watched it with my lovely wife, and then afterwards we were talking about it, and she was like, "You're really worked up about it. That really pissed you off." And I was like, "Yeah, it did. She was an asshole. Look what she did this, and she did this, and then she didn't need to do this, and everything would have been fine." And she was like, "Yeah, but she was just thinking this. It was just she's into her career, and didn't want to get too friendly too quickly." I was like, "It doesn't matter." And I was really worked up about it. Anyway, but.
Hashtag under Steve's skin.
Yeah.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah. But despite that, she came good in the end. And, yeah, so I think I'm going to watch more of this. And I did enjoy this. And I think it might be a weekly thing that we might watch this. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good fun in that setting. I don't think I'd watch it on my own.
Right.
So what happens now if you and your missus end up rowing every week?
Over this?
Yeah, if you're on Team Andrew and she's on Team Zelda.
You have 8 months left in your marriage, Steve.
No, she's more balanced than me, so she sees the good in, both sides there, so, yeah. We'll be good, I hope.
She's like the prophecy, she brings balance.
Yeah, so anyway. So what did you think of the asshole that was Zelda? So. What did you think of this?
It wasn't as shit as I expected.
Yeah.
I did appreciate the chemistry between the two main characters. Yeah. Himself reminded me of a young Hugh Grant. He's got that foppish incapacity about him. And that's kind of endearing, actually. He's good at being not very good at stuff. I thought, yeah, it's interesting in terms of setting in stone where this is going to end. I suppose you could probably assume from it that either one of them is dead, or the relationship will break down after your 8 months and whatever. So I like the fact that they put a hold on it. Go, Sean.
I think that because I was waiting, because I don't want to get invested in the show and get betrayed. I've got this really funny feeling that they're going to fuck us over and do something more along the lines of their relationship only lasts 8 months, how long does their marriage
That's exactly what I was
Totally.
thinking, Sean.
Totally.
That's
There's
exactly what
There's
I
only
was.
two things that can happen here, really, isn't there, at the end of it? So.
Well, Sean, it's like what you were saying, that either something, in terms of genres, you can meet the expectations or you can be subversive. You're teaching me so much from listening to this podcast. I'm so glad I listened to Is It a Bicycle?
Yeah, everybody should listen to this.
You know you can get free audiobooks.
Shut up. But, I think you can apply that principle to this show, and it's either going to, the relationship will end after 8 months and we'll be like, well, we saw it coming, or they're gonna find like a cute, way to trick you that after 8 months there's, a play on words and then something else happens. Mm-hmm. For the record, I don't care either way what happens.
Did you not buy into it, Sean?
I did not like the show at all.
Oh, really?
But that's because I'm a cynical, unromantic bitch, and I find it way too sickly sweet, and I just can't stomach it.
Oh, really?
Not at all. No. His puppy dog eyes are kind of like, you know what? I won't even
Love
say it.
me. Love me. I'm so sensitive. Love me.
But like compared to Ted Mosby, like I enjoyed Ted Mosby and I liked How I Met Your Mother. Now I came to it quite late. I think I only began watching it in season 5 and had to kind of backtrack and then keep up. And I really liked it because the cast of characters I found, I don't know, similar. They talk like, me and my friends, and it was romantic, but it was also funny.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too precious. But this first episode was like sickly. He was like all about fate and romance and it was meant to be, and like she had to be this woman that he had seen at a concert a few years earlier, which she denied for some reason I don't know, and then she pulls out the dress that he described her wearing, and it's just like, ew. It just, and then it turns out that, conveniently her office is located like with a direct viewpoint to his office, and they can have these like really cutesy office phone calls from each other's desks, and
That was fate. That wasn't convenience. That was fate.
Too cynical. Yeah.
yeah, fate and romance, not my shiz. I hated it. That's all I have
Oh,
to
you
say.
hated it? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I must salute you, Shona. Like, I thought I didn't have a romantic bone in my body, but I obviously have at least one because you're on 0.
Do you know, once I had, my lovely husband wrote me a lovely Valentine's Day poem, but it was making fun of the fact that I'm the most unromantic person he knows.
Like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, that's...
Okay. Thriller, filler. Sean.
Definitely thriller from me.
Thriller for me too. Mike.
Filler.
Wait your turn, Sean.
I just wanted to get that in there and influence Mike.
It's not my kind of thing. It's not something that I'm going to watch again, which would generally make it a filler.
Yeah.
And I definitely enjoyed Selfie more than I enjoyed this.
Ha!
Oh.
But
Victory.
it's not a bad show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a reluctant filler.
I thought we just described the criterion as being, would you watch it again?
You did say filler though.
Oh.
Yeah. Reluctant filler.
I did say
Sorry,
filler.
I thought you said thriller.
Jeez,
you're
you're up for
I
arguments
was all
tonight,
ready.
aren't you?
I was all ready
Jeez,
to
you're
jump
raring
on
to go.
that. Yeah.
It's one of those ones that's kind of...
Romance makes me so angry.
It's one of those ones that's close to the edge, but, if I have to make a call, I'm gonna say filler.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Sean. It is thriller. So, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't think less of you, Steve, for watching anymore.
Yeah.
Because I can't think any less of you anymore.
You watch Ataz, we'll watch Selfie, and we can all just kind of sit at home ashamed of our television choices.
Works for me. I still have a few episodes of Z Nation to get through, though. I know. Have them queued up.
That's going to be a thing now, Steve.
Okay, so next up we'll have some previews in Coming to a Bicycle near you. Okay, so the first one was Tomorrowland. What do we think of this? Someone describe it first.
All right, I will describe it because it looked really cool. This girl who is... Are you laughing at me? What? What is it? What have I done?
Nothing, come on.
I just can't even think how you'd begin to describe this.
Oh, okay. The scene opens in a police station. So it's a young woman, maybe older teenager, maybe early 20s, in a police station, and she's getting her stuff back from the police from a holding cell or whatever. They empty out the bag, and in it is a button that's not hers. He doesn't care, the police officer. So she goes to pick it up, and as soon as she touches it, she's instantly transported into a field. And then when she takes her finger off the button, she's back into the police station. Then the finger's back on the button, and she's in a field, and then off, and then she's in a police station. And that's the trailer.
Do you want to know what IMDb describe it as?
Please. Do they do a better job than me? Because it would be hard to do worse.
No, because I didn't get any of this from the trailer.
Okay.
What I got from the trailer is like, oh, that's fantastical, and that looks kind of cool. Let's explore it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. But,
Yeah.
IMDb says it's bound by a shared destiny, a teen bursting with scientific curiosity and a former boy genius inventor embark on a mission to unearth the secrets of a place somewhere in time and space that exists in their collective memory.
What?
Wow.
That is not what this trailer
Didn't
is
get
about.
that from the trailer. No. Yeah.
This trailer was about instant teleportation.
Yeah.
That is all I got
To
from
another
it.
world.
Yeah.
You know what would have been cool if she had red shoes and she clicked them through.
yeah. So George Clooney's in this.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Britt Robertson. That is the lead protagonist or protagonist. Judy Greer's also in it. And Hugh
really?
Laurie, would you believe?
Wow.
Yeah. So, do you think you'll watch this, Mike?
Not a fucking chance.
I think I might be curious to see what happens in this.
I think I would.
Unusual premise, so
Yep.
it could bomb completely, but...
You know, it said Disney. And
yeah,
Oh,
it's
is
probably
it?
12.
it is
Ooh.
Disney, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know...
So they've instantly taken away any possibility of something interesting happening.
Yeah, you don't want it to skew too hard on like the moral side or learning a lesson or something.
Right.
Or God forbid love.
Next one we watched was Focus, which is a trailer. It's Will Smith's new movie. It is a veteran grifter takes a young, attractive woman under his wing, which is played by Margot Robbie, who we saw in that one with Leonardo DiCaprio last year. Jesus.
Oh yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
thanks
she was
very
the
much.
wife.
Yeah,
The trophy wife.
Yep. And but things get complicated when they become romantically involved. This has got a bit of the usual trope. It's kind of a bit Ocean's 11-y.
It's totally Ocean's 11-y.
Except there's only 2E or 3E. And
With a support team.
yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's also got Will Smith in it. I hope this is like a comeback.
No, I don't think it will be.
You don't think it will be?
This looks like a very weak film with a plot that's been there and done that, nothing new or exciting. I can't see anything new for his as an actor that's gonna, improve his canon.
Yeah, I fucking hate con movies.
Yeah, me too. And like gambling in a casino and like, oh, we're gonna get money. Like,
I love gambling. I just don't like watching movies about gambling.
yeah. It's very dry and I just feel like it's, yeah.
Margot Robbie's in it, Mike.
There will be stills from the movie.
And the last one that we watched was Web Junkie.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of fascinating. This is a documentary.
I thought this was a piss take.
No, it's not. Actually, you know what? It's on YouTube already. Yeah.
The documentary.
Yeah. The whole
wow.
documentary, yeah. Web Junkie is it's a Chinese documentary, or it's set in China.
It's about China.
Made in China.
Yeah, that they have classified internet addiction as an illness.
As a clinical disorder.
So
it's
the documentary is based in a hospital trying to cure internet addiction.
Yeah. Where Chinese teenagers are being deprogrammed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's because they've been on the internet playing games for months and whatever, their folks are, I'm not sure the authorities put them in this rehab center. And it's all about them not knowing why they're there and why they're being cured.
This
and
one
not
kid is
understanding.
sobbing like he's just fallen off the wagon. They ask him why he's crying and he's like, I use the internet. And like, I don't, could any of us get through our day without using the internet? I couldn't. I mean, like I work on the on the internet, but other than that, like in my own life, I would never think of classifying.
There are levels of internet use.
Yeah, that's true. Are you sleeping enough? Are you eating enough? Are you having a shower?
When you hear of people dying at the keyboard because they've been playing World of Warcraft for,
that
number
doesn't
of days.
happen.
It happens in Korea. Yeah, it happened all the time. We lived in Korea for a while, and it was a common thing. Yeah.
Common.
Yeah, common enough. And
not uncommon or common.
Not uncommon, let's say.
Wow.
You would hear about it every couple of months, some dude in...
What?
Yeah, because they had PC rooms, like, before, like one video stores before they went, they had PC rooms or karaoke rooms and that kind of thing. But PC rooms are like 60 cents an hour. And so they'd go in and spend all day. Just, wow. There's rows and rows of computers, but they'd all have top end computers there, you see.
Right.
And so they'd play World of Warcraft or StarCraft actually was the big one. But they'd sort of forget to eat and stuff. But a lot of the people that we were teaching English, a lot of kids, they would go to school. They came to our school after school.
Right.
And they were in our school from 5 to 11. And then they'd go to the PC rooms till like 3 or 4 in the morning.
What?
Yeah. And then
show up for school in the morning.
Oh yeah, they're back at school at 8. And then we would be asking them about their hobbies. What are your hobbies and so on, so forth. And every single one would say computer games. Boys or girls. Computer games. And what type, then you just have to ask them, okay, what games are you into? And then you'd see the diversity, But,
right.
Now it's not fair to label all of them like that because there's quite a few of them into their sports and arts and whatever,
Right.
But.
Wow.
But we will say wow because we don't have it on the same scale.
Right, no.
Whereas I imagine that this is why they would have this
Make a
internet
documentary
addiction,
about it.
first country being,
Right.
To define it, let's say, as a clinical disorder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but you can imagine if you took the internet away here, people on their phones or Twitter or whatever, you can imagine people starting to get strung out after a while,
Although
because we have signal all the time. We never think about it, so.
I have daydreamed about running over the odd iPhone or two.
Really?
Yes. It's constant intrusion into life. I'd be
Are you
interested in
listening,
seeing
husband?
and friends and me.
Yeah, they say they start out with animals, and then they move on to iPhones.
But I'd be interested in seeing then in the documentary if like how bad are the other sins of the patients that have landed them in there.
Yeah, I'm wondering, are they on unapproved websites or something, or if they've been flagged that way, or because it's quite restricted,
Yeah,
the
very restricted.
So, yeah, Mike, would you be interested in seeing this?
No, I lost interest in the internet about 10 years ago.
Says he was giving out about not being able to log on today.
I
needs most.
I do what I have to do to make a crust. Fucking internet is boring.
Okay, that's all we have for this week. So big thanks for Shona.
You're welcome.
It was great to have you on again. And so from Mike, Sean, Steve, and Shona, stay classy.